What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Are You Serious? Happy Friday, okay? We hope you had a good week. And as you see, we do have a guest, and I'm going to read off his resume real quick before we introduce him. He's a Rose Hill graduate, actually, Pitt State alum. He spent 4 seasons with the Steelers in the NFL, 4 seasons with the Saints, 7 seasons with the Chiefs. He was a Pro Bowler in 2004. He played in all 16 games in almost every single season except for one. He 9 total playoff games in his career. He actually played in Super Bowl 30, and he is now a color analyst for the Chiefs Radio Network. Our guest is Kendall Gammon. Kendall, thank you for being on the show. We greatly appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. Hello to everybody there at Rose Hill, and kudos to you. You had to go back and do some work to see all those things about me, so I appreciate the research.
I was doing my research, yes, sir. But we'll hop right into it. So the draft was just recently. So what do you think of the Chiefs draft as a whole?
You know what? And I'm looking over here to my right a little bit. People talking to me coming in, they talked about the running back at the first round. This was before, because some people were predicting that. And actually, I missed on that one completely because I feel like running back is the easiest position to fill in the NFL. And I felt like they'd go a different direction. They did not. I'll say this: I hadn't seen much of that running back at LSU, and I just don't pay attention to college ball as much. But after seeing him and what he can do, pretty impressive, and it just puts more pressure on the defenses of the opponents this year. So I thought that was good. Otherwise, they went defense on everything else. I think that's good. Got some young corners that they think can help. Certainly that linebacker out of Mississippi State is somebody they have some big plans for. That's who I thought they would go for, and it may have just had to do with who was available in the first round. But I knew inside linebacker was a big need for them. And then I like the depth that they brought with Lucas Niang. I don't know how you say it, but the TCU grad. And I think getting an offensive lineman of that caliber was an important get for them.
Yeah, so, they went with Clyde EdwardsHelaire first round, more of a power back out of LSU. I think he was the fourth best running back on the big board. Do you think that they should have went with like a J.K. Dobbins or DeAndre Swift or Jonathan Taylor? Do you think?
I hear you. I'm sorry to barge in, but I hear you. I know what I see from Clyde EdwardsHelaire was pretty impressive. I mean, he's got that. I mean, they've all got quick twitch, but his was really pretty special. His change of direction at full speed to me is impressive, and his size. I think he's about 5'7". I got to see here where they got 5'8", 209, 210. He'll get up to 215. Pretty decent size. One thing, people look at that and they're like, oh, well, you got a small running back. What they don't understand sometimes, you have a small running back who's physical like he is, can run between the tackles, can catch the ball out of the backfield, something that Andy Reid likes to have all the time. I think that's what drew them to him. But I can remember being around defensive linemen and them talking about trying to go after these small running backs, and literally they can't find them. They can't see them over the big offensive lineman in front of them. It makes it more difficult. So while sometimes we out on the outside think that the small running back is a deficit, oftentimes it's something that can really help them a little bit. And I think you're going to see him used in a myriad of ways. I think his pass blocking has to get better. And I know from experience being around Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, he will not get on the field until he can pass block first. He can do everything else, and I'm sure he'll be fine there as well. But you know what? What a great position for him to be in.
When you look at the AFC West and what they did in the draft, and it seems like they were trying to get weapons to maybe attempt to run with the Chiefs offense, and rather than drafting defense to try and contain them. To me, that seems foolish, I guess you can say. I'm just curious as to what you think about that philosophy or perceived philosophy.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that the AFC West is trying to keep up with the Chiefs offensively, as you said, and it's interesting. For the longest time, the AFC West, the Chiefs have been chasing the other teams. Back when they had all the good QBs around, and now the tides have turned, and it's impressive because to me, the Chiefs matched just getting that one weapon in Hilaire, I think, on offense, and actually really retaining some of the other guys they did. To me, those are like good draft picks because you kept guys on the team that know what's going on. You just put more pressure on the AFC West, and I think the Chiefs, in the meantime, upgraded their defense that really came into their own at the end of the season. So the Chiefs, I liken it to the Patriots a little bit. They have a chance to really just own this division like they have for the last several years. And that's a really big thing. I mean, you look at the Patriots, they were successful for a lot of different reasons and getting to the Super Bowl. One of the big ones all the time was the fact that they had byes and they only had to play those 2 playoff games to get the Super Bowl and not 3. And I think that's a really big thing. And I think you're about to see an era, barring injury, where the Chiefs have a chance to do the same thing.
So kind of bandwagoning off of Mr. Browning's question, I've seen a lot of teams go with this like speed approach or a lot of receivers and a lot of offensive weapons. And the Chiefs do retain a lot of people from last year. I mean, they have Mahomes. That's probably the one person you really need to retain. But with all that, how do you feel about the Chiefs' chances of, repeating, being back-to-back Super Bowl champs?
I think they're as good as anybody's had in recent history. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent, what he does. And then everything you hear about him, I can corroborate, having been around him personally. The dude is real. He is good. He's everything he's built up to be, not only physically, but I think more importantly, emotionally. And that's a big thing. And his leadership qualities, I mean, he owns this team in the right way. I mean, he's still just one of the guys. I played 15 years. I was around a lot of players who were one of the guys until they became a superstar. Then all of a sudden they felt like they had to change a little bit. He's not doing this. So I think that's pretty special. I think Andy Reid, one of the most gifted coaches I've ever been around offensively, and then even more so in terms of how he deals with people. So I think the chances for the Chiefs this year are great, not only this year but going forward. It's no different than any other years, though. You have to have some, I don't know if it's luck, some fortune, good fortune in terms of trying to handle injuries or not have injuries. And really the fact that the Chiefs did what they did last year, getting through all of those injuries, including Mahomes himself, is something not to be dismissed because it was special.
Yeah, as Koby stated in the beginning of this episode, you made it to the Pro Bowl in 2004 and you happened to be the first pure long snapper. What was that experience like, going to the Pro Bowl and be around all these great players and Hall of Famers?
It was certainly really, really cool. I was well along in my career. I think that was year 13 for me. I've been an NFLPA rep 10 of my 15 years over time. So I've been around a lot of those guys at PA meetings, involved in the negotiations and things we had going on the business side of the NFL. But being over there and being recognized as worthy to be there was something special that I didn't take lightly. And it was just a very, very cool experience. I greatly I hold on to those memories and feel very special, very fortunate that I had a chance to really participate in all of that.
Kendall, I don't want to turn this interview too negative, but certainly there's an elephant in the room when it comes to the 2020 NFL season because of the pandemic going on. And I know that's still 5 months away, and there's a lot can happen between now and then. But with baseball now coming out with a plan to hopefully have a season beginning in late June, the PGA Tours are doing the same thing. We're not scientists or doctors here, I get that. But in your view, what do you think the chances are that we're having an NFL season, whether that be with or without fans, later dates, start dates, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I don't think it's anything that we have to worry about talking about, because it's just the reality of our world right now. I think there absolutely is an NFL season. I can see the possibility of playing games without the fans. I don't see how you can put fans in the stands right now. I think the other possibility is pushing back the timetable quite a bit this 1 year. So, I mean, I've heard even in the college side of things that the football season could be in the spring. So there's all kinds of things going on. And, that's what we're doing. That's why we talk about it right now, is we speculate on it so other people can speculate on it. We don't know. It's only those 32 owners in the room, along with Goodell, who are trying to figure it out, along with the input from the coaches and, quite honestly, scientists, I'm sure. But it's going to be interesting because the NFL is a fabric of our society that we love. Football in general is a fabric of the society. And it has some clear positives to it that I didn't even realize, having played the game for so long. But now, not having live sports in general, I forgot to a degree how much sports really bonds us as individuals and groups off the field, as fans and as media. And I think in some way, some shape, some form, you play a season, but I don't think it involves fans if it starts on time. I think it's hard to think that the football season could start on time considering the way the off season is going right now. But, it's a cop-out, but time will tell.
I've been watching, along with everybody, we've been watching Patrick Mahomes do the most, I think, crazy things some of us have ever seen. It's crazy that he's only in his third NFL season. To me, it's almost like he's only in his second because he's only been playing 2 seasons. He's a Super Bowl champion, a regular season MVP, Super Bowl MVP, I believe. So I was going to ask you, you've been around so many great players and you've been watching the NFL and played in the NFL for a long time. So is Patrick Mahomes one of the most talented, if not the most talented quarterback you've ever seen in just these 3 years?
Bar none, far and away. It's not even close in my opinion. He is the most talented, actually not just quarterback, but player at his respective position, in my opinion. And I know that's quite a statement to say this young in his career, but the dude and what he does with that arm and his ability to see things and, bring baseball into football. And, it's just stuff that's never been done before. I guarantee you there's a whole bunch of football dads that are getting their kids involved in baseball now, and then at least the ones that are playing QB because they realize, some of the things going on. And it's generational. It's special to see. And the team saw it. Kudos to Brett Veach and then Andy Reid for not only pulling the trigger to trade up 17 spots to number 10 a couple years to take him, but identifying him a couple years before and keeping track of everything and what's going on. They saw it. A lot of other people didn't. I didn't see it. My son played for K-State. He played against him. He told me that certainly they saw how he threw the ball and what he did was special and different from everybody else, but nobody saw this. Now that rookie year of his, he's running scout team like you do if you're, I know better than anybody about running scout team. I did it my whole career as an offensive lineman, even though as a long snapper. But you're over there running against the first team D and you're going after things. And I heard through several sources that, that rookie year when he's running a scout team D, he's just taking it to the defense, right and left, up and down. And, the powers to be, they saw that they had something special. I remember being approached by some staff on a bus when we were going up to Denver because Alex Smith wasn't going to start. The game didn't mean anything, so they let Pat start that game. And these guys, multiple people were like, just wait, get ready. You're about to see something special. And we really did. He didn't have the touchdown, and it wasn't ungodly numbers. I think only 230, 240 yards, had the one interception. But he comes in at the end of the game and takes him down, drives him down to get the game-winning score. And it was just kind of that penultimate step of what was about to happen the next year. And again, I talked to defensive backs when I've been on the road. Rod Woodson, Hall of Famer, was a friend of mine, or is a friend of mine. He was a teammate of mine with the Steelers and one of the greatest defensive backs to play. And I talked to him about Mahomes and what he can do. I talked to him about Tyreek Hill and what he can do. And he just said, as a defensive back, both those positions, they're doing things right now that as a defensive back, if you haven't seen it live before, you can't prepare for it, even if you watch it on TV. So if you're only getting one shot at it a year, every once in a while, you're at an extreme disadvantage. And I realize I'm going on at length, but I think what he can do and his skills kind of deserve it.
Absolutely. Well, I think that is all we have for you today. Once again, we had Kendall Gammon on the show. Kendall, thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute blast having you. And everybody, thank you.
I appreciate you having me on. Believe it or not, I was down on the hill about 3 weeks ago, got my bike out and rode around for about 2 hours and just kind of recalled a great time. So thank you all for what you do, and I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Kendall.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and have a great weekend, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.